All right, so here's the BMC 20 winding pulling machine. We have a customer in Tennessee that just purchased this and we've got it ready to go. This is just a walkthrough video so they know how to hook it up once it gets to site. So some of the things I just want to point out on the machine here. When you get it, you have to install these handles. They'll be in a separate bag when you receive the shipment, and you just simply screw that into the grip claw head here, and you can screw it into the one curtain guard here and over there. So further to that, just so you understand the controls, this is for the elevator. It's jog up and down as well as an e-stop, so that will lower and raise your platform. This is the main control panel right here. It just has some simple functions on here: fan off, fan on off. That's for your hydraulic pack, and it controls the blower on this fan here. I suggest to keep it on at all times because that'll just help with the cooling of the hydraulic fluid. You have pump on, pump off, as well as an e-stop. This is inside your control cabinet right here. Lots of wires, but it's not really that bad. So the only real things you need to pay attention inside this cabinet here would be your thermal overload. In case you overload the machine, this is what's gonna basically cause, it's gonna trip before your breakers and your systems trip. If that happens, just press reset on it. Normally it shouldn't happen, especially the way we have it set up, but in the event it does, take a look at this. You also have your main power in right here, and you have L1, L2, L3, okay? So that's black, white, and red. Now, you're gonna have to take careful note of the L1, L2, L3 sequence, because when you hook it up, it'll have to be hooked up in exactly the same sequence coming from your power source, which we will get to in a little bit. All right, so going on to and here's a look at the foot pedal right here. So it says master grip claw control forward and reverse. So step on the forward one, the grip claw goes forward. Hit the reverse, it goes reverse. So now if we go on to the rear of the machine, a couple things to note. This is the hydraulic pack, which is inside it, the BMC 20 winding puller. I've got all the hoses labeled here. You won't really need to touch the ones going to the master grip claw because those are already hooked up. But I've got them labeled. There's an A here, an A there, and a B here, and inside the machine you can see a B. So those are basically for the in out of the master grip claw cylinder. And then there's a C as well as a D. And if you follow those hoses, they connect over here to the elevator. You see the C hose goes to the C connection, and the sticker came off, but there's a D here to the D connection. So just to go over some of the features of the hydraulic pack, this machine is actually a 240 volt 3-phase power machine. And the way that we're getting this to work for our customer is that we have phase converter, which is known as a C15 American rotary phase converter, which can go up to 15 horsepower. The actual motor in the back there is 5.5 kilowatts, which is well within the range of the phase converter. So this thing is going to have a lot of juice when running off of a single phase power. I will go through how to hook up the single phase or the phase converter in another video just shortly after this. So if we go over some of the features of the actual hydraulic tank here, this is your master pressure. This shouldn't really ever exceed 10 MPa. This pressure gauge here is for your elevator. It shouldn't really exceed 5 MPa. This is your master pressure gauge right here. It's your main pressure gauge. So if you need a little bit more pressure for whatever reason, you might have to dial that up. But as set right now, it's good for most stators that you will have to pull the copper windings out of. Now over here, there's a flow valve on this side as well as on the other side, which is kind of hard to see, but if you reach in on the other side back here, I'm not really going to be able to get that with the camera. That controls basically the up and down speed of the elevator over here. I really don't suggest touching that. It's set is stable as basically the system can run. And now there's another flow valve underneath here, which affects the strength of the elevator lift over here. In other words, you can look at that as a secondary pressure valve, but I really wouldn't touch those. They should be fine straight out of our factory here. And another thing to note is that your hydraulic fluid goes in here. We recommend just standard hydraulic oil. I believe that's 32 grade. If you're going to be using this outside in the winter, you might want to use a 46 grade. When you get it, you will have to add hydraulic oil to the tank here because it will be shipped empty. So that's basically an overall view of the BMC 20 winding puller, your setup video. As I said, when you get this, it will the elevator will not be connected. You will have to connect the hoses up to that, but the master cylinder will be connected, and then you'll have to add hydraulic oil. So that summarizes most of the features on the BMC 20 winding pulling machine. I'm going to do another video here explaining how the power actually hooks up to this.